Okay, Matt Skalogly here with SRP Medical Marketing, and we're going to try this again. Had a little bit of a glitch with our little live interface, but hey, we are here and we are ready to go. So today I want to talk to you on this Monday morning about why patients don't buy. And so what happened was that I was working on some of my clients' work this morning, and I came across an old training or in communication to my staff from 2016. When we were struggling. Now, struggling for us is at that time we had 3 locations and we had just got done with a $900,000 month. Yeah, between 3 locations, we did 900 grand. Record month. Now, part of it was a little bit longer month. I think we actually had 22 open days that month. But anyway, 900 grand is pretty darn impressive. One of my clinics actually did 300 grand that month. And so the next month we came out and we were laying an egg. Now our average was 650, and I think we're on track after a couple of weeks to do, memory escapes me, but we were probably on track to only do 600 grand. So big drop, right? So business is dropping a third. And the first thing that I was hearing from the staff was these leads suck. Now, or the leads weren't any good. Now, mind you, we had been marketing since early 2014. This was probably, this was September of 16. And I can tell you right now, that the leads didn't suck. They were coming from the same lead sources and everything. And so what I did was I came across a training or a little formula, and I want to share that with you today. Before I go any further, if you would like this formula, just do me a favor and type the word formula below, and I'll be more than happy to send this to you. I'm going to go into this in quite a bit of detail right here, and I'm going to ask you some questions. Throughout this, I'm going to actually give you an opportunity that if you want to work with me. So again, if you want the formula, just type, I'm sorry, actually don't type the word formula. I'm sorry, my bad. Type the word 200K below in the comments. This is for those of you that want to do 200K a month. Again, want the formula, type the word 200K below in the comments, and I will send this to you. A couple of things that I do want to go over with you before I dive into this is, one, I have a couple of questions for you. This is going to be really relevant if you are stuck at around $55,000 a month, or you are below 6 figures a month. I talk to clinic after clinic after clinic that is stuck at that $55,000 to $60,000 a month. It's kind of where they just have settled in. If you are stuck in that $55,000 a month and you want to take it to 6 figures, then you certainly want to type in the word 200K below. And then I have 2 more questions, actually 2 more questions in the combine of 1. Are you friendly and coachable? One of the biggest things, in order for you to be able to work directly with me, you have to be friendly, you have to be coachable. If you were going to come in with a list of things that you want to tell me how to do, we're probably not going to get along really well. And I don't mean that to be a jerk. I just mean that to be very honest with you. If you are coachable, I can help you. There's no doubt. I've been doing this for a long time, but more about that in just a little bit. So type the word 200K below. Okay, so let's do this. Let me actually show you the actual note. So you can see here, this is via, I use a tool called Evernote for all of my stuff. I'm going to enlarge this for you so you all can see this a little bit more. There we go. So this is complete with typos, by the way. So just deal with that, I guess. So this is a conversion heuristic that Flint McLaughlin of, Marketing Genius, or Flint's brilliant. And I found this, actually, this was April 2016. So it was March. I'm sorry, March is when we were having the rough month, and I created this and I updated it. So this is just basically a little heuristic. Sorry about the timeline there. I got my notes wrong. I was looking at it as August. But this was the actual note that I sent to my staff, okay? So here's what I want you to get. This formula right here is, very simply, it's conversions is equal to, I'll put it up here as well so you can see it, okay? Conversions happen, and conversions happen for a lot of different reasons, okay? They convert, but here's the formula. 1 is motivation. The probability of conversion is directly related to 1, motivation. So you take motivation, the patient's motivation, you multiply that by 4. Motivation of the prospect, user, patient is key. If people aren't motivated, then they don't buy. If you aren't motivated, think about it. If you aren't motivated to buy a new car, there's no words, no offers, no pushy salespeople can convince you to sign the deal. It's just that simple, okay? So you have to be motivated. You have to have what my buddy John Paul Mendoza says, a bleeding neck. If you don't have a bleeding neck, you are not going to get it fixed, which is why I love to sell things that are sutures for the bleeding neck. Erectile dysfunction was that. If you had erectile dysfunction and you had failed with pills, potions, pumps, and porn, you had a bleeding neck. You wanted to get this issue taken care of, okay? The next thing is the clarity of the value proposition, or as I like to call it, the offer. So your motivation is the patient's motivation is the most important thing. The next most important thing is how clear is the offer. What's in it for the patient? What's in it for the consumer? I was having a call the other day with one of my doctors up in Chicago who owns a regenerative clinic. He had sent me a video to review, and the value proposition wasn't clear. It was all of this technical stuff. And so we worked on how you simplify it. The offer has to be very, very clear, and you have to realize that your patient is not a doctor. Your patient is me. They need things put in simplistic terms. Okay? Next is I, incentive to ask. Okay, so here we are. We have 4M plus 4 times motivation times 4 plus the value proposition to the offer times 3 plus these next 2 things. And these 2 things right here can derail an offer. The I, F, and the A can derail an offer very quickly. Okay, so the first part is I, incentive to act. This can be a number of things. It can be a pricing discount. It can be a promotion. It can be a gift with purchase. It's how they are incentivized in order to make the conversion. But you're going to notice, see, where most people make the mistake, they think that the value proposition or the offer is the incentive, and it's not. It's why the sales don't work every single time, and it's why you always get the same people coming in with the sale, okay? If a guy has, from the erectile dysfunction standpoint, if a guy has erectile dysfunction and we give him an erection, but he has no place to use it or put it, which was a really big issue, by the way, then he really isn't incentivized to buy a plan. Okay, so think about this. If the guy is single, or we'd get a lot of guys that were, they had, their spouse had died, they were widows or widowers, they weren't dating yet. And if they weren't dating, they weren't really incentivized to make a move. Okay, so it's not just the sale, but are they incentivized to fix the problem? If you're in the aesthetics space, if they're incentivized to fix the problem, meaning they have a wedding coming up or they have a graduation coming up, they're going to be more incentivized to fix the wrinkles or their incontinence or something like that, okay? So no matter what the offer is, it doesn't matter if they're not incentivized to buy, meaning they don't have a personal reason on top of a monetary reason. No matter what the offer, they're not going to buy. It's why they have to be in a relationship or actively dating for them to buy a plan on ED, okay? The next thing is frictions, okay? There's all kinds of frictions that get in the way. And these frictions, even though the motivation is 4 times and the value proposition is 3 times, so this is a pretty big multiple, the friction, any friction that happens can just stop it right dead in their tracks, okay? Reasons why people don't buy according to friction, okay? 1, they don't feel you understand them and their problem. Most salespeople can't shut up. Great ones talk very little. They listen twice as much as they talk. They don't know, like, or trust you at the clinic or the clinic. Everyone has an inner bullshit detector, as I like to call it, and they all want to run away and hide. Okay, so you got to realize that they're looking for a reason. Now, you might sit there and say, "But Matt, I'm truthful." Okay, that might be the case, but the reality is that people have these big time BS detectors. They don't believe in you enough. Again, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And this is the bigger one. They don't believe in themselves. If they don't believe in themselves, this is way bigger than them not believing in you. Let me give you an example. Have you ever bought something from an infomercial? Think about this. A lot of people have. Statistics show that most people have. You get it, you open it up, maybe even watch a little bit of it, or you use the product, but then you stop. Now, an infomercial could be like, remember When Hair Care, it could be Carlton Sheets, How to Make Money, Flipping Houses, it could be any of those infomercials, it could be Proactive, okay? So you've bought stuff most likely from these, okay? It's okay, your secret is safe with me. I have an entire closet full of stuff I've bought from infomercials. I love to watch infomercials, so that's another topic for another day. The reason why people stop is they don't believe in themselves. You already believe in the product because you bought it. But if you don't believe in the product, so People stop using P90X or Proactiv or Carlton Sheets, not because the product doesn't work. It's because they don't continually believe in themselves. Okay, they don't believe they can use the product correctly. This is a big reason why people don't convert. It's a big reason why people don't work with me, is because they don't believe in themselves. They see my track record, right? But they don't believe in themselves. They don't think that it's actually going to work for them for whatever reason. I can provide pile upon pile upon pile of proof, and there's still going to be people that aren't going to do anything because their motivation is high. They're struggling to make their payroll each and every 2 weeks. They have big time motivation, but the real reason is they don't believe in themselves. This is really, really, really big. Okay. And did you notice here, by the way, that people don't buy because they don't have the money? Really big, important point. People will buy if this friction is gone because of their motivation. Okay. And then the last one is anxiety. Okay. So this is -2A, anxiety. And anxiety is, in the medical space, is it going to work? Is it safe? Is the FDA approved it? Has the FDA not approved it? I think I read somewhere something about stem cells being illegal. Okay. These anxiety elements, people create them to not buy. Have you ever feel anxious about something? And I'll tell you this story. I think this is a great story. A few years ago, this was 2016, right after I wrote this, and my family and I went up to the mountains. We love the North Carolina mountains. It's always been one of our favorite places to go. And my kids wanted to go ziplining. Now, if you knew anything about me, I don't really particularly care for heights all that much. I'm not a big roller coaster fan. I don't like the concept of ziplining. I'm a control freak. Okay. So I don't like to be out of control on a zip line. I mean, my anxiety starts kicking in, right? So if I go back over to this formula right here of 2A, my anxiety starts kicking in, okay? My incentive and the friction, all of this is going on. And so the family wants to go zip lining. Now, my wife at the time loves this kind of stuff. My daughter loves this kind of stuff. My youngest son loves this kind of stuff. And my oldest boy, Andrew, was not there because he's a lot like me. He's like, no, Dad, I think he was still home or something like that. So anyway, the family motivation to go was really, really big. Okay, they wanted to go. And so I don't want to look bad in front of my kids. So we get up there, fine. My wife at the time is heckling me. I'm like, in her own polite way. So I got to go ziplining. So I would get up there, we're on the first thing, and I'm looking down and I'm scared out of my cord, right? Like, I don't want to do this. And all of a sudden, my 10-year-old cuts in line in front of me and goes ziplining, woo. And I realized at that time, my motivation for me to go just went through the roof because I can't look bad in front of my boy, right? There's just no way. And so, and I certainly didn't want to be the one left out. And so my motivation went through the roof. And so I decided my anxiety in that first zipline run, it was like almost crippling. But my anxiety went away because my motivation went up. Okay. I had that bleeding neck. So I'm going to close with this. Your patients have a heaven or a hell. Okay. And so you have to take them away from, you have to keep them and put them in hell to lead them to heaven. Okay. They need to see the future of what they will experience. They have to, in our case, in the ED clinics, it was about the joy of sex. Okay. It gets most men in that space past their issues of confronting their ED. So I want to leave you with this. Conversion isn't about, what company you're using or anything like that. It's about this formula right at the bottom right here. Okay. If you are not, if you aren't really clear about their motivations, if you aren't really clear about, if you don't have a really clear value proposition or offer, it's going to get tanked really. Then the friction and the anxiety is all going to go out the window. So you have to be really clear about their motivation. You've got to be really clear about their anxiety. You've got to be really clear about the friction, and in order to convert more patients. Okay. Again, big thanks to Flint McLaughlin. If you would like this, all you have to do If you want the formula in greater detail, just type the words 200K below. Again, I am looking for some clinics to work with. I'm looking for 6 clinics that are stuck at $55,000 per month. The folks are friendly and coachable. The doctor is a doctor. You got to be coachable. You got to be willing to work with me on this. And then last, that you want to grow to 6 figures a month. I am looking for 6 practices to begin working with between now and the end of this month. You can type the word 200K below, and I'll be more than happy to set up a time to talk, or you can message me directly. And love to work with you. So that's it. That's what I have for today. You all have a great day and a great week. Thanks.